Hey everyone, it's Lainey and welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new. This is Christmas in July. I have this cute Snow One Like You stamp and die set from Fawn, and yeah, let's just start creating. The first thing that I need to do is stamp our character, and I believe it is a bunny and a bear. So I'm going to just align my die here and cling it to the door, and bringing in my black ink. It's a Memento, and I was trying to use this earlier and I was having some issues with it, so stay tuned. This is another black ink that is supposed to work well with alcohol markers, so hopefully I can figure out kind of what's going on. Part of me is kind of thinking it's the stamp, so no, it's definitely not the stamp. It's the ink, but I'll get it figured out and I'll bring it to the channel shortly. So I have stated in a couple of my cards that I've been having some issues with bleeding from the ink and the alcohol markers, so I am trying to decipher whether it's the ink or the paper, or maybe, you know, it can definitely be a combination of both. So that's why I've purchased these. I believe it Stays On ink, and it is from Hobby Lobby, but we'll just have to test it out another day. Okay, so I double stamped this. I need to let this dry for a few minutes before I bring out my alcohol marker. So while this dries, I'm going to go ahead and set it aside, and I'm going to start with some ink blending. This is an A2 size, and I just need to tape it. Actually, I'm going to use my mint tape here. And I want to, sorry if my head's in the way, it's just a bit. I want to mask off all four sides, and this is 1 inch thick. So we're just going to be creating the ink blending in the center there. Okay, so we have a nice window here for the ink blending, and what I'm going to be using today is Tim Holtz peacock feathers, and I have just 2 of the same, that's why they're together. And let me get a blending brush, and I'm going to create a gradient effect first. So I'm going to start at the top because I want the top darker than the bottom. Tap some of that excess off here. Light hand, and I kind of start on the mint tape and then work my way down. And I like to kind of start on the mint tape just to help some of the ink, you know, get off of the brush so it's not so harsh when I move it to the cardstock. Okay, so I'm going to leave this alone. It is a gradient, it is kind of blotchy, but also once it sets, it does heal a little bit. So, like I said, leaving it, and I'm going to be using the Frosty Snowflake stencil. It's Simple Stories. I purchased this from scrapbook.com. It was, I believe it was on clearance, and I really like the mixture of snowflakes here. So I'm going to take some of this washi tape and use the washi tape to secure my stencil, just because I don't want to waste my mint tape. This washi tape is quite old, so it is just not working very well, but it will suffice for what I'm using it for. Alright, so really going to lather up my brush here. My stencil is secure, and I'm going to come in with that same color with the heavy hand Now time for the reveal. And I love how this looks. So very carefully removing my mitt tape and just going to set it to the side of my glass mat. It is reusable. So I may make another card after this, I don't know, so I may need it. And I absolutely love the clean, crisp lines and all of that white space. I feel like it just looks so, so pretty. So now I need to cut my panel down. Not sure of the final measurements, so I'm gonna go ahead and just cut this down and I will let you know what I come up with. All right, this is the final dimensions for my panel, and it is measuring at 3.5 by 4 3/4. And I'm going to bring in my card base here, which needs to be folded down, but now you can see the nice margins there, and we have plenty of white space. So our seam is just going to be in the center of the card, the focal point of the card, and I really like working with a smaller panel. We need to go back to our stamp and get some coloring done. And I have some alcohol markers pulled along with a white jelly roll pen. I do have sand from Ohuhu, and I think I want to come in with this color here, and I want to use my fine tip. And what I like to do is outline the body and then kind of fill it in, but this time I think I'm going to kind of do it differently, outlining some aspects instead of everything, because I typically like to take my darker color and really like just outline most of it and then come in with a mid-tone or a lighter and fill in. But I'm going to just kind of do this differently, and we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so it's just kind of randomly colored, and I'm going to swatch these out. So this is the fair skin, this is the tan blend. Okay, so that's definitely too dark, but the light is really good. Now I'm swatching out the fair skin blend here. And what I think I'm going to use is the fair skin blend in light. And I'm going to go in where there's white space and fill in with the lighter tone. And just trying to kind of pull from the darker color. I am working with a really small area, so just doing my best. And if you're new to alcohol coloring, or even if you're not, one thing that I like to remind myself is just color it, let it sit, because it's going to change. Just do a little at a time. You know, build on from the starting point, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And just do it in, just go slow. The whole point is go slow, color it, let it dry, and then come back in and make the adjustments as necessary. Because we do have some harsher lines with that darker color, because this fair skin is super, super light. So basically there's no mid-tone. And I'm trying to kind of pull from that darker color to help blend it out. And it does well in some areas. But you know, we can just build on more of the light, or we can add the mid-tone from this tri-blend set as well. We have options. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the animals alone at this point and come back and revisit. And while that is drying, I want to color these cuties. So let's color the bunny. I'm gonna bring in my 2 turquoise colors, and I will do my best to link the colors that I'm using today. And I just want to note, I have a few collections of the tri-blend and I believe 3 collections of the Ohuhu. So I will just link all of them down below, and also what colors I used for this particular card. So let me swatch. This is the lighter and that is the darker. So I'm going to come in once again with the darker, and they've got a little toboggan and a scarf. Just creating those shadows on the outer and then leaving some white space, and I'll come in with the lighter color there. So while that sets, I'm going to do the same thing with the bear. I'm going to come in with I'm going to use pink this time, and I'm going to come in with that brighter color for both the scarf and the toboggan. Now coming back in with my lighter turquoise, and I'm turning my work here and just kind of filling that area in. And I'm going to leave some white space, actually, just a little bit to help that pop. Now bringing in the lighter pink and repeating that process, adding a little bit of lighter pink there, I guess kind of more as a mid-tone, and then still leaving a little bit of white space. Okay. And let's see here. I'm going to bring in my colorless blender. I know that this is used for kind of helping remove the color, but I just find that it just doesn't work well for me. So I started using it in another way, and I'm really liking it. So it helps create a little bit of brightness in areas that I want. Where I left white space on the cardstock, I am going over that area with the colorless blender and kind of blending a little bit of that color together, if that makes sense. I just feel like I am doing a horrible job today explaining what I'm doing. I'm lost for words. All right, so I'm going to bring it closer to the camera there, and you can kind of see how there's more of a gradient from a really, really light, almost a white, into the color. And that was done with the colorless blender. Obviously leaving that white space there with no marker, and then bringing in the colorless blender to help just kind of smooth those colors out for a smoother transition. Okay, I think I need a little more coffee today. All right, so back to the animals. I want to kind of create a mid-tone here to help smooth out that transition. So I'm going to bring in the tan blend in light because it's just a little darker than the other color that we were using. Okay, so added a little bit of that color, and I'm going to come back in with the light from the Fair Skin blend and go over what I'd already colored of that light. So basically just adding another layer to help darken the light up. I think this area needs to be a bit darker. Okay. That has definitely helped smooth these colors out. So we use 3 different colors on the body. And because this is a cute little bunny rabbit, and it's got some large ears, I want to add a little pink to the ear. Let's see if this will show up. Just going around the outline there, or the center line of the ear. I am just using my pink marker and just coloring right around that part of the stamp. Yeah, very faint, but super cute. And lastly, for the sled, I think I'm going to bring in the turquoise again. I'm going to come in with that darker color and add a little bit of the darker color to the outside edges, and then bring in the lighter to create that mid-tone, leaving a little white space there, and gonna come in with the colorless blender to help kind of smooth all of that out. Okay, our little guy is done. I want to add some accents with a jelly roll. So let's test this out. And I really just like adding like a dot and a line. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see. Sometimes the jelly roll pen works so well, and sometimes I feel like I just can't get the color out. Okay, so we just added a little accent to the scarf. And we'll leave the hats, toboggans alone. And this is the final coloring, and it still has to dry, so things will change just slightly as alcohol markers dry. But I just need to do a mid-craft cleanup, and then we'll get this cut out and start building our card. We are almost done. I'm going to be using my mini die cut machine today, so I'm going to cut off the excess here, and let's build this up. I need the die, and the die set comes with the dies cut for, you know, the animals, and then it comes with one for the snowflakes that are on it. If you didn't see, it comes with this type of snowflake and that one there. And then the sentiment is there's snowing like you, but there's no die for that. Just if you were curious. Using some of my mint tape that I put on the side of my glass mat. And I always like doing that so I can just use it again for this card, or if I am in a card making mood and I decide to make another card after this, I can use it for like my die cuts. Okay, and I really love just having this little guy because it just takes up less space on my desk, because it gets really dirty and crowded real quick when I am card making. Okay. And that is our cute little die cut. I just think this is so stinking cute. So cute. That's what I love about Lawn Fawn. Their characters are just perfect. All right, so now I have my card base, which is an A2 size, and it is a top folding card for this card. And we need to adhere our panel, and let me think. You know what? We need our sentiment. So I am moving too fast here. let's bring back in our mini Misty, and I want to attach or stamp the sentiment directly on the panel. So I need to figure out placement. So I have my panel down, and I want our cuties right there in the center, and I already have the stamps pulled over here on my glass mat. So it says there's Snowing Like You, and it's not going to fit in a line. So I have the 3 stamps just kind of random, and the Like You is interacting a little bit with the ink blending, but it is more on the white space. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe the top portion here there should interact with both as well. Let's make sure the snow one is just directly on the ink blending itself. I am nervous. I do not know if this is going to look good, but let's see. All right, so I think that that's going to be really cute. So now that I have the position for the stamps, I can move those little guys away, and just making sure that this is nestled in that corner again. And I'm going to just stamp up the sentiment here. Okay, double, triple check. Now it is officially permanent. So getting a good press. And reposition our panel in that corner. And I'm going to come in with another stamp just to make the sentiment more vibrant. I really like double stamping. It just looks better to me. All right, and there it is. There's Snowing Like You. We've got the nice, pretty blue background with snowflakes really tying in the winter. And we will just place our animals in our sled somewhere like that. And definitely we're going to need some embellishments. But first, let's make this permanent here. So magnetizing the card base down, and I'm going to turn my panel over and add some foam tape. I'm going to cut off. I need to cut this off so it is a cleaner edge there. And starting at the edge, this foam tape is from Hobby Lobby. It's 5 millimeters thick, and I really like the dimension that 5 millimeters provides. So starting on the edge there and then moving to the other edge. I mentioned before that my non-stick scissors are from Hobby Lobby. It came with a 2-pack, this larger one and smaller one. They were 40% off, so it was $11.99 for both of these. And it's been the best $12 I have spent on my card making supplies. So much easier. I was being stubborn before and using other scissors, and I've ruined 2 of my scissors. You just need non-stick. Okay, so our panel, being that it is cut down quite a bit, it fits 4 of these strips here. Need to trim that one down a bit more. And I personally like adding more foam strips to the back and having them closer together, just so there's no divots created in my storage while I'm storing my cards, or if I give them away. It's paper, you know, it is 110-pound cardstock. I use 110-pound cardstock from Nina for my panels and my card bases. I just like the stability. I still think that it needs just a bit more stability with the foam tape. So very carefully here, trying to align and check my margins. And now our card base is permanent. Next step is to apply some pop dots to this because I want to give this some elevation as well. And I'm going to be using my pop dots from Dollar Tree. I do have other pop dots from Hobby Lobby. I'll show you, and it comes with 3 different sizes here, like small, medium, and large, but they are quite thick. I think they're about 7 millimeters thick, which is even thicker than my foam tape. So I do like those because I've got the variation in size. But for this, did it upside down? For this cut out here, I think that that would just be a little too raised. So just using a weeding tool from Cricut, this works perfectly because it's quite sharp, just to pull these little pop dots out of its casing here. Okay, I think that that is going to work. So now I just need to remove all the backers. I'm going to bring in some tweezers to help me. And I'm paying attention to the text, making sure it's going to be centered within the left and the right side of the ink blending square. But also I want to pay attention to the spacing between the sentiment and the characters there. If that makes sense. Just to help everything appear more balanced with adequate spacing. And I absolutely love that. Now for these little guys here, I'm going to take my lint roller, pick those guys up. And now for some embellishment, I accidentally mixed in some sequins into this bag because I used both for a mermaid card I did a while back. It was so cute. Super, super cute. So many different techniques used. And then after the card was done, I just poured it all in the same dang packaging. So yeah, my brain just was pooped at the end of that card, I guess. Just not thinking straight. So I prefer to use the 2 smaller sizes. This pack that I found on Amazon, it has 4 different sizes of these dewdrops. So I'm trying to find 2 smalls and then like that 1 size up from the smalls. For the dewdrops, I think that it would be, I'm thinking that it's going to be a good idea to have the dewdrops interacting with the white space and the ink blending, since the text is as well. So I've got 3 different sizes here at this corner, and I've got a smaller and 1 size up at the top. And I think I'm going to go with that. And I'm having, oh goodness, I'm placing them quite far apart from each other, which is rare for me to do. But I just want the dewdrops to be interacting with the entire panel. I decided to add another one So the dewdrops are interacting with the white space on the top and the bottom. So for this one, I've got like 3 different sizes, and for this little trio here, I've got 2 different sizes. So a small, 1 size up, and then a small. And I'm really liking how this looks. So this is the final placement of the dewdrops, and we just have 2 different trios at the top and the bottom of the card. So I think that that's it, guys. Cute stamp and die set from Lawn Fawn. I found on Amazon. I believe it was $12 or $13. If it's still available on Amazon, I will link it down below. So definitely check the description box. And we just stamped the sentiment directly on the panel, which is something that I rarely do, but I really love the dimension of the panel and the stamp, the ink blending, and then of course the dewdrops. I feel that the snowflakes just really tie it in together and really bring that winter feel as well. So if you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps other people find my video. So the thumbs up really help my channel. And if you're new and haven't subscribed, I would love it if you subscribed, of course. And check the description box below. I also have both Instagrams of mine, my Crafted by Lucas and my personal Instagram. And yeah, just check the description box below, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And thank you so very much for watching another video. See you in the next one. Bye, everyone.